So in the Earth observation industry, we are looking at a lot of satellites coming along. So when we talk about the satellites, you have the big satellites like the ones we are launching. These big satellites are all about high accuracy, finer details, and there is also the new wave of small satellites. So recently we announced that we have a partnership with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where we're also working on a joint venture where we'll be launching small sats. The difference being we want to leverage our high quality imagery, process the small sat data so that they become more accurate. The small sat domain, it's not about satellites, it's all about the data needs of our customers. So there are areas on this planet where we have really high demand. This is where we started complementing the small sat capacity on top of the satellites we already have. The second aspect is monitoring. Some of our customers want more frequent visits of our data. Today our high satellites, they come in once a day at 10:30. Now with the small satellite constellation, in some places we can come back almost 40 times a day along with our high satellite. So it's a combination of what the customer wants, which includes capacity as well as monitoring in those areas. From a strategy perspective, if you listen to what we told the street, we already had these next generation satellites. We've been thinking about it for a while, and the beauty was our longtime customer, CAX from Saudi Arabia, was able to partner with us to create this joint venture. It's more about, again, I go back to, it's not about technology, it's about the content you're creating from these satellites. The one thing that I'm encouraged about is if you look at the adoption of geospatial imagery, since Google came along in 2005, we estimate that there are over 2 billion users using the imagery today. So that number is going to grow exponentially as the smartphones and the number of smartphones, which are estimated to be 30 billion by 2020. So we believe that the more there is usage, there is more demand. So from that perspective, the more satellites are better to provide this information. Small sats, from our perspective, they are of limited use by themselves because at the end we talk about pixel resolution. So as you saw, Digital Globe, we launched a 80 centimeter resolution in 1999. Now we already launched 30 centimeter resolution, and we do have a regulation from US that allows us to launch at 25 centimeters. So you see us going towards capturing finer details. But the finer the detail, the smaller the area you can capture. So the small sats, most of them you see that they're at that sub-meter resolution of 80 centimeters, very comparable to the Iconos satellite we launched in '99. That's why I use this analogy that they're more complementary to basically allow us to fill capacity gaps as well as provide monitoring for our customers if they're interested in more times in a day to visit a given location. Absolutely, that is the core of what we do is high fidelity, high finer detail imagery and high accuracy imagery. That will be the core of what Digital Globe does, and we'll be leveraging not only small sats, we have been doing third-party imagery for a long time. So our focus is how do you solve a customer problem by providing content from multiple sources, and we believe that our high quality imagery becomes the foundation to make them more accurate. So again, when you talk about looking at data, it took us 10-12 years where we are now at a point where we can actually create mosaics of countries within days. That tradecraft is built on experience. So launching satellites is only part of the story. The second part of the story is what do you do with the data? As you see us talking about, we talk about platforms. We have something called Geospatial Big Data Platform, where we want to bring the data and compute together so that the end user can get their answers quickly. And we also have a detailed ground infrastructure nobody else has. So what that allows us to do is we talk to our satellites near real time for most of the landmass. So in the absence of the ground infrastructure, the platforms, just launching a satellite is one piece of the puzzle. We still see that what we bring to the table as Digital Globe, they have to work with us so that we can create, again, going back to the customers, we can create answers using multi-source content. I think instead of thinking about commoditization, it's about number of consumers that are exponentially growing. So there will always that aspect of commoditization because more satellites are coming in. So the way we look at ourselves is when come to the very high resolution market, that's what we are in. We are the only satellite that's launching 30 centimeters in the near future. And then when you look at newcomers coming along, then the advantage we have is because we have 2, 3, maybe 5 years head start, we'll start building a rich archive of 30 centimeter across the globe. So it's always that catch up for the newcomers to come in. So commoditization for us is, yes, we have more competition, but again, there are a lot more users that are coming up. So still imagery is a very good data market, but we're also looking into providing solutions. That's where you'll see us investing in platforms, cloud capabilities. If you look at some of our military customers, for their specific missions, they need our kind of data. So that is why we focus on what we call a quality framework. We call it A and 3 C's, accuracy being the first one. Our satellites are typically around 3 to 5 meters across the globe. If you look at a small sat, they can be up by 100, 200 meters. So that's the first differentiation. Second thing is what we call consistency. When you collect data over Delhi, for example, on multiple dates, multiple seasons, it will be different. So we have developed proprietary technology that makes the data consistent, not only of our satellites, but also of other satellites. And then we are now thinking about completeness. So I want to create a mosaic of entire India. So we are in a position where we are talking something entirely different in terms of coverage, completeness, currency, and accuracy, while a lot of these small sats will be focusing on, I want to take pictures. So that's the difference you'll see between us and the small sats. There are several business models. The old business model is what we call per square kilometer model. And that model is still applies for certain applications, but we are now looking at all kinds of business models, whether it's revenue sharing we have a program called IPP, Information Partner Program, where we provide data to these partners who actually create solutions from our data, and we have a back-end revenue sharing. So we are open to all kinds of business models, and this industry at this point, you will realize that in the next few months to few years, a lot more new business models will come in, and my belief is the per square kilometer model becomes obsolete very quickly. The user behavior for me has been very, very interesting, which basically reflects the adoption of satellite imagery technologies. So in the past, we would talk about a small area. Even the greater Delhi area of 10,000, 20,000 square kilometers was a big deal. Now we are actually talking about continent scale, national scale kind of data sets. So users are now getting comfortable with that. So now we are able to actually truly start utilizing the imagery to start addressing national problems as well as global problems. So at the end, it's all about location, right? What we are trying to do is everything happens somewhere, and using this 30 centimeter, 50 centimeter imagery, we're able to show you very detailed location anywhere across the globe. So that's data. The next aspect is location information. So when you observe the same location, and if you're looking for specific objects like this building, now you start building location information and the object behavior. And then location intelligence is how is that object changing, or if you look at some companies that are into marketing, let's say this is a McDonald's, they know that based on the human behavior, they might want to advertise similar McDonald's or similar Burger Kings close by. So that location intelligence is something we are enabling, but right now our play is location data and location information.